I used to believe that I needed to work until age 65 before I could one day retire and enjoy life. But a recent mindset shift showed me that there are hidden advantages to calling it quits before age 65. So in this video, I'll share my personal story of 5 hidden advantages I discovered after calling it quits from a 39-year career at age 61. So join me on this journey and stick around to the end, where I'll share the mindset shift that helped me unlock a future with my best years ahead. Retirement's not the end, it's a journey. For years, I dreamed of escaping the stress and burnout of demanding jobs and long work hours. I looked forward to more free time, travel, and relaxation that I believed could only be achieved by reaching a certain age with a significant amount of savings. But then I realized that some small changes to my lifestyle and how I viewed retirement could actually accelerate my plans. And here are the advantages I've discovered. So the first hidden advantage I discovered was tapping into newfound energy. So does this sound familiar? During my work career, especially towards the end, I would wake up every morning when that alarm went off, wishing that I could just get a few more moments of sleep, just quiet for a little while. And then, of course, I would head downstairs, have those 2 cups of coffee to get the energy levels up, and that would start my day. And a lot of times I was faced with a long commute. Sometimes I was commuting for up to 2 hours, and that was draining. Well, I'll tell you, since I've retired, I'm feeling more energized than I have in a really long time. So it seems like through the years, when you're in a job or any environment, you can be under a lot of pressures where you don't feel well, and sometimes you don't even realize it. I can think of times in my life where I was just pushing it so hard, and that it would get to the weekend and finally just collapse from exhaustion. And now that I'm out of the workforce and I'm enjoying days like this on a regular basis and I don't have those pressures, well, the energy is there all the time. There's no need to unwind. It's just present every day. You see, I think the other thing that I'm starting to realize is that when you're in that environment, you don't even realize how draining it is. Your energy levels are down, and it just seems normal to need that boost of caffeine to get you through the day, to collapse at night before you even make it to bed, waking up the next day exhausted, looking forward to the weekend or that 1-week vacation that you get every now and again, that need to recharge just so that you can get going again. Well, now that I'm retired, those cycles have gone away. It's all just become more of a smooth and level days that are really enjoyable and that bring me newfound energy that I forgot I had. And what do I do with all that energy? Well, getting out on days like this, getting out into nature, hiking, taking long walks. This was something I've really come to enjoy, so much so that I'm going to be creating a whole video just about walking and how great it is as an activity and the things it does for us. New energy means I'm up for new adventures, going places I hadn't thought of before. Doing things around the house is easy now. It's not a chore. It's just something that I'm enjoying doing. Taking time to be with friends and relatives and meeting new people. All of that coming from just this higher levels of energy that I think we all discover once we get out of the grind of day in, day out work that's taking our energy away. And the next hidden advantage that I found after calling it quits at age 61 was a chance to rediscover who I really am. So when we call it quits from the regular routine of our work, we get an opportunity to rediscover who we really are. Right before I retired, I used to ask myself a question. What will you do with your day, hour after hour, when you don't have to do anything? And, I would think about it. And yeah, like a lot of people, I would think about, the trips I would take, some of the things I had to do around the house. I thought a bit about this, getting out, hiking, enjoying my days. But I didn't really have any great answers about what that would look like. And it was because I feel like I'd kind of forgotten who I was, who I really was when you strip away the routine and the work. So much of what we do when we're working is tied up in our jobs. So much of who we are. Doing this at age 61, calling it quits, I'm finding out more about myself. You kind of forget what you like to do. You kind of forget how you feel about things if they're not constantly tied up in work. For me, stopped remembering the things that I enjoyed that were simple. So much of it had to be complicated. It was a project. If I had time, I was going to take a big vacation. So there was all this planning, and that sort of started to make me forget that when I'm out here and I'm just enjoying like a simple walk or getting outside and enjoying my time, I feel like a whole different person now. And I was thinking about this as I was starting to make this video. What this feels like is, it's the cliche. It feels like when I was young. It feels like when I was a kid again, just getting out and having a good time. And being me learning new things, being me making mistakes, being me imperfect, not having to worry about what comes next. It's a great time. And I'll say, again, if I had waited till I was 65, I'm sure this would have been good. So here I am at 61, and I'm sure glad I'm out here rediscovering what I'm about. I'm glad I'm getting to have new conversations with new connections, new people, learning, like I said, new things, doing this. Talking about things with complete strangers I never thought I'd share. So this is just a whole new feeling, and I didn't quite expect it. I think that, when we retire, we think about the things that aren't going to happen anymore and what we're going to leave behind. But the things that are new and refreshing and what it's like to just be yourself and rediscover yourself, it's not something I thought about a lot. It's not something I really expected. So for me, this is definitely a hidden advantage. And I'm, curious to hear about, your feelings about this. When you retired, do you feel different? And the next hidden advantage that I found after calling it quits at age 61 was a newfound clarity and focus that I hadn't felt for years. When you leave a corporate job and that day-to-day 9 to 5 grind, suddenly all of the noise and chaos and deadlines fade away. And when they do, you start to see things a little more clearly. There's more time to focus on what matters, which is the here and now. We hear a lot about living in the moment. I think it's been a long time since I've even realized what that meant, because for a lot of years, the moment has been whatever next meeting I had to go to or whatever work I had to get done by a particular time, the things I needed to get done. So with that gone, I'm able to focus more clearly on just what's happening around me right now. And it's pretty amazing. Another thing is, through the years, I've explored meditation and mindfulness to be more present and to clear my thoughts. I'm finding that so much easier now. Meditation is a great practice, but now I find that I can be mindful and get in the moment and enjoy life just even as I'm walking on a trail or even moving about the house or in my day-to-day activities. When I first retired, I did say in one of my videos that I took a little getting used to all of the quiet and not having other people around. But now, 6 months in, it's pretty amazing. The notion that I can be alone with my thoughts and not have them spiral away from me, and then instead be clear and focused on what I'm doing or what I'm feeling, is a wonderful experience. And I think it's a definite advantage that I didn't expect. I knew I'd feel more relaxed. I believed I would, but I didn't know that I would feel this open, clear, and focused like never before. And the next hidden advantage I found after calling it quits at age 61 was the freedom to chart my own course. When we work, and especially if you're in a corporate career, so much of what we're doing and what we decide to do with our days in the course of our work is dictated by other people, by outside needs. For me, again, working on projects, a lot of it was about having to meet specific obligations or timelines that were being set. And it was fine. That was the work. I will say that many times, I think one of the biggest struggles that I had was there would be specific decisions being made, things that had to be done that, I didn't necessarily agree with. Whereas now it's like, not only am I free to chart my own course, I'm free to make my own mistakes. The ability to just do something that isn't perfect, but have it be mine, have it be the decision I made, and live with the consequences, good and bad. And with that also comes things like deciding to try something completely new. So I've talked about in other videos, exploring more creative sides, taking up drawing again, even though I'm terrible at it, just sketching some things out. What I do with my days, and how I plan them out. My daily routine. So when you look at it that way and you're retired and you think of this as a journey, you start to think a bit about the future and in different ways. So for the longest time, the future and my destination on my course was about getting to this, was about getting to retirement. It was earning money, raising a family, all the things that came with that, kids through college. And that was a part of my life's journey. But now those are the things that are behind me, very positive things. And so my next 20 years, what does that look like? So at 61, as I think about forward into my 80s, I like to think that I can just keep this going. I love the stories about people in their 80s and 90s who are still going, and I want that to be me. And so to make that my course, I'm focusing on well-being, less stress, getting my exercise. That's why you're starting to see a lot of these videos I do out here on my walk. I'm doing this daily. It's a new part of my course. And this course is about energy and vibrance and health and feeling good and less stress. Not leisure and relaxation, but just less, just simple. And it feels really good and it's mine. So this has been a really, really cool hidden advantage that I've just like soaking in since I was able to call it quits. So this is going to go until I'm 100. I'll be still doing these videos. And finally, the last hidden advantage I found after calling it quits at age 61 was the opportunity to fall in love with life again. When we get to this age in our early 60s, it's a time when we start to look back over our lives at the decades. And for most of us, we realize that there were hard times and there were easy times. There were good times and bad times. Life's a journey. And, it's easy to love particular times in our lives. But what I'm finding is that now I'm really loving just life itself. What I mean by that is just this feeling of being alive. So much of our lives when we're in a corporate job or we're tied up in work and we have the stresses of that time of our life, it can be hard to love life. And sometimes it can feel a little, overwhelming, depressing, get you down on life, get you down on the people around you and, really feeling cynical about the world. But with that gone and behind, and now on a new adventure in this next chapter, which, as I said, makes me feel like my best years are ahead, it's just so much easier to love life and to embrace my life for the good and the bad. Not just every day has to be amazing and wonderful. I know there's days with sadness. There still are. There have been over the last few months, days that feel a little off. It reminds me when I was, a few years ago, I was hiking in Norway, and there was a sign on the trail, and it said, days come in all colors, sometimes gray. There was something about that saying that made you feel like it would be okay, even if the day was gray. But now it's beyond that. It's not just that it's going to be okay. I love gray days. I love them as much as I love sunny days. Today's a little bit overcast and I'm still out here hiking on the trail. The clouds have been coming and going, the sun peeking out every now and again. It's a bit of a breeze. It's not the best day weather-wise, but it's a great day to be alive, and it's a great day to be out here, and it's a great day to be enjoying life. And that's what I love about it. So again, an unexpected advantage. I knew that I believed that I would feel better and that I would have more times of joy. But this feeling of really loving life and looking forward to what's ahead, it wasn't exactly what I expected. So now I'd like to share the mindset shift that allowed me to realize these advantages by calling it quits at 61. You see, I used to view retirement as a goal. It was an end that would require sacrifices and substantial resources to get there. But if we think about retirement in a different way, and I started to think, was I really going to live 30 plus years of leisure, or 65, 25 years of nothing but leisure, it didn't seem realistic to me. I saw myself doing more. I always loved the stories about people in their later years, maybe in their 80s and 90s, who were still really active in doing things. And, there's an entire study about these areas called blue zones, where people live substantially longer than in other parts of the world on average. And in most of those places, they don't view this stage of our life as a time to stop and retire. It's almost the opposite. They view it as a time to get going and keep moving and keep contributing. And so as I started to look at it that way, I started to think, well, what am I waiting for? Like, I could, if I'm going to keep going and keep active, like, why can't I start now? What would it take? And to close that few years gap, it really wasn't that much. So now I actually look forward to the notion of doing some side hustles, learning new things, maybe part-time jobs. I've actually been looking at some seasonal work that I think will be a lot of fun. And I kind of imagine a future where I might do that for a lot of decades to come. And these past few months have showed me that retirement isn't an end, it's a beginning. I just want to say I realize that we're all different, and what's working for me may not work for you. If you're enjoying your job, or your career is such that there's a strong benefit to waiting a few more years, maybe it's the time needed for a pension, maybe it is just that little bit more savings, well, that's up to you, and whatever path works for you, that's the best path to take. All I can say is that when you do get to retirement and you start this beginning of the next phase of your life, it's amazing, with so much joy and happiness and a whole new set of adventures. So my best advice is to make this happen in whatever time works best for you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again next time. Enjoy your best life.